And then this is your tip.
All right.
Hey, everybody, you are watching Get Your Geek On, and this is a special edition of Get Your Geek On because this is Get Your Godzilla On. This is part two. If you guys tuned into part one, we introduced you to the infamous Monster Zero, aka the notorious ZRO, and he is here to lead the ship. And this second part of the video, guys, this is going to be getting to know Godzilla, all right? Where his origins are from, the story, his evolution over time. Chris is going to take us on this journey. We're going to hit you back to -1 because we want people seeing this movie while it's in theaters. But Danny and I, who normally hold the reins here, we officially pass them off to Mr. Monster Zero. Take us down a historical road of the
Oh,
G-Men.
oh my goodness, man, you are wonderful, Chuck. I hope you know
Thank
that.
you.
Oh man. So let's take the time back to 1954, boys and girls, to a little bit about 10 years after the war ended in Japan. Um, a director, Ishiro Honda, was instructed to help guide a film named Godzilla or Gojira, 1954. One of the most prolific and one of the most influential movies in film history. This movie has not only inspired countless filmmakers, it has inspired filmmakers like Steven Spielberg, George Lucas, Martin Scorsese, Tim Burton, stuff like that. It's this legendary monster is a symbol of the atomic bomb, the symbol of the atom bomb. It is a symbol of people's pain, people's grief, uh, people's passions. Like it's funny to say that about Godzilla too. But it's one of the beautiful things about this creature and this franchise is that there are so many stories to be told because he can represent so many different things to whatever the person and whatever story somebody wants to tell. With Godzilla, he can represent a countless number of things, and that's why he's been around for over 70 years, if you can believe that. 70 years at this point now. It's crazy.
Now, one thing that I would to just touch what you were saying on Chris of how you can inject whatever it is you want that time. That's very rare in franchises because to just let's just flip that for example, say Iron Man. You
Yes.
can't inject whatever you want into the Iron Man character, even though it's been around for so many years, because there's an expectation of what this has to be. And I think the only thing that comes close to that is, if I'm wrong, I've heard you and Lewis talk about like the Toho guidebook that even with the American Godzilla, that they had to say like Godzilla can't eat people, he can't do this. And I know that it changes as far as whether or not he could die, but I feel like that was really it. It was like these are the bullet points you have to hit. However you want to tell the tale, other than that, is up to you. And I feel like that's a sense of freedom that you don't see in other franchises as well.
It is. It's very, very true. It is like a freedom you don't see in a lot of franchises. Because I mean, for God's sakes, Godzilla's like 2000 run, his Millennium era, it was just a lot of different filmmakers coming in there telling their different stories with the King of the Monsters. Look at in the comics, you have the IDW comics, and there's a bunch of different comic artists and just comic writers telling their own different stories with Godzilla. It's wonderful that we have a symbol of that started out as some at so much pain, but now is can become such a gold mine in storytelling and just like a potential to tell so many different stories and stuff like that. It's wonderful. So yeah, like that's just an introduction to Godzilla. An introduction to like his franchise and and like a little bit into his character. Godzilla's been a villain. He's been a good guy. He's been doing wacky shit for a long time. He's slid on his tail. The motherfucker has flown before. He's breathed on the ground and somehow took off in the air. He's
Now, can we talk about that? You want to talk about gangster real quick? -1, in my opinion, has the most gangster Godzilla scene when he clutches his fist and he's looking up at the mushroom cloud and roars like, "Yeah, bitch, I did this shit!" Like
oh my god. So this Godzilla's such an asshole in -1.
that was his version of "I'm Rick James, bitch." That was his, I'm Godzilla, bitch. Ah, like
um I love it too because it's you just see how you just see how fucking mean this guy is. This motherfucker. I got
he's
like
such a prick.
he's
He's
such
such
a
a prick.
dick. He just
And if you
woke up
want to
an
relate it,
asshole.
now, if you want to relate it and tell me if this clicks with both of you, seeing that Godzilla and the level of dick he was, you know, someone you went to high school right now that was that level of dick that you could relate to that. You could be like, oh my god, that's Brad. I can't stand that. Like just doesn't give a fuck about anything. And when I listen to you and Lewis on the live stream, the way you talked about the throwbacks to 54 with the reporters on the roof and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, talk about the history now. And the other thing, I think you're in a minority that isn't well known about yet, that actually loves and appreciates Zilla, not Godzilla, Zilla.
Oh yeah, from '98.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Listen, I'm gonna get crucified by the Godzilla fandom if I say this, but I do appreciate the '98 Godzilla. I don't think, I don't think it like competes with any of the other Toho films. God no, but it's just for what it was doing at the time. I get it, and I grew up with it. Like, god damn it, like fuck, man.
So here's the way to justify that.
Everything was campy and corny back around that time. Nothing was taken seriously from the property it was, and they took things. I mean, when you look at some of the Godzilla movies, I mean, he had a kid that blew smokestacks and would do a dance and go, whoa. And what he was patting him on the head, like, yeah, let's go out there and beat up some monsters. It'll be great. So, I mean, they got campy and corny, but during that time when like the Batman movie was out, and they made the Godzilla, like they went so overboard with the campy corny that they just made it silly. And I'm glad they took it back to more of a serious tone, because Godzilla is that dude.
Yeah, well, what Chris brought this to with Lewis is, you guys, first of all, I had never referred to him as Zilla. I didn't know about that till I heard your live stream. But then when you were talking about how if they were to homage him, the idea that he's a subspecies of Godzilla, which I heard on the screen, like you pitched that is canon in my head now. So that makes me appreciate the character. And that's a direct result of you. Like, I had never even thought of that. And that was such a cool idea. I'm like, yeah, that justifies it. And then the idea that Japan bought it and brought it back. So I don't even consider that movie called Godzilla, thanks to you guys now. It's just Zilla. So to me, it's a separate version. It's not Godzilla. You know what I mean? So I can appreciate it for what it is.
He's also transgender because he had babies.
He was the first.
Let's not gloss over that. He had lots of babies.
Oh yeah, he's just reproducing asexually, and it's just because like not Gareth Edwards. Oh my god, Roland Emmerich was inspired by Jurassic Park. Let's be honest, that influenced that Godzilla's design heavily. It was just a big old T-Rex, and then we got raptor babies, but it just destroyed Madison Square Garden, laying all those eggs and shit.
My dad's whole family is from New York City, came over from Poland, and the most unrealistic part of that movie is where he just disappears and they can't find him. I'm like, do you know how many Mexican and Polish and Italian grandmas are out on balconies smoking cigarettes that just see this? Like, what the fuck is this giant lizard doing outside my building?
What is this giant lizard?
Like, okay, first of all, buddy, I got money on the Mets game, and you're fucking up the cable wires, all right?
Bro, 90s New York is the best New York.
It absolutely is. And can we talk about Mutant Mayhem real quick? How well they represented New York in that movie? Yes. I got to get my bacon, egg, and cheese. Bacon, egg, and cheese.
I'm going back to Brooklyn next month. I can't wait. Speaking of that.
Nice. You got to get yourself a chopped cheese, man.
I can't wait to go back. Oh, my God.
That is the meat sandwich. But yeah, tell us more about Godzilla. So obviously, Star 54. I like what you were saying, but you can inject whatever you want into it. Does that make it so that each iteration is so different in your mind that you don't have to compare them against each other? You can just appreciate what they brought to the Godzilla lore?
Yes, it's because they get so fucking wacky. Like bro. Like, bro, at some point, like, Godzilla, like in the same series, Godzilla is, a symbol of atomic destruction. There's a mom holding her child, like, oh, we're gonna be with daddy soon, as they're burning alive. And then, like 3 movies later, he's beating the shit out of King Kong with his tail, clapping his hands, and doing a weird dance and shit like that. It's great.
Yeah, I love the ones with the sun. Like, those are hilarious.
Yeah.
And then you have Godzilla versus Mothra. So Mothra comes to defeat Godzilla. Next movie, now Mothra and Godzilla are fighting together. Like, they have these movies segmented into kind of story arcs in a way. Depending on the director, because each director took Godzilla in a completely different way. And during like back in the 80s, like by then they already did this, where they took all those old movies and they segmented them. So each one has its own era. So stop me if I'm mistaken.
But the way you're paralleling this, I revert back to what I said in part one. I'm seeing it in wrestling, as there's been different eras of wrestling. Like
Yes.
Triple H has been different characters throughout his career at different eras, and you can appreciate each one for what it was and how different it was from what came before it.
Yes,
I appreciate one Triple H. This is the one who fought in the subway and got tombstoned on the escalator and knocked out. You long-haired bitch. That's the only Triple H there is.
my God.
I don't care what else you do. You can take all the steroids you want. I don't care who you're dating and marrying to try to get ahead. That's who you are, Triple H.
Okay, so Danny, to a better comparison for Danny than before he goes off, let's say he's Mick Foley, then he's Dude Love, then he's Cactus Jack, then he's Mankind.
Awesome. I don't care what he does. Yeah, I don't care what he wears. He's awesome. He's the greatest.
And on a separate side note, I would love to film videos of Macho Man doing the Godzilla trailers. Like, oh yeah, brother, because coming this Sunday, the G-Man is going to face Mothra in a no-holds-barred hardcore match from Tokyo, and we're bringing it live. But yeah, so is that comparison fair in my mind, Chris? Of like,
yeah, there's different iterations, different generations.
Let the man talk, Danny.
You know, Macho Man's like the reverse Godzilla. Godzilla's tiny on top and real thick on the bottom. Macho Man is huge up top and has chicken legs on the bottom. I think Elizabeth's legs were bigger than his.
That should have been his heel turn. He reverse Godzilla. But no, Chris, I really want to hear Chris's thoughts on that parallel between wrestling and the eras of Godzilla.
That's a good way of looking at it, is because like you can look at wrestling and appreciate the different eras and appreciate how different characters were acting in that era.
Right.
And same with Godzilla. Like you have the Showa era, which is like from the 50s through the 70s, where he's goofy, like he's serious sometimes, and he's a hero. Then the 90s, where he's played off more serious and he's kind of an anti-hero. And then in the Millennium era, he's whatever the hell the director wanted him to be in that movie. Because a lot of those movies don't connect to each other.
And that is the thing. So how does that feel? You know, I feel like there's a dichotomy here, whereas Japan doesn't have the cohesive, MonsterVerse type Godzilla storytelling yet. And then how do you feel about America doing that? And regardless of how you feel about the Godzilla character, how he's used, can you appreciate the idea that there's a connected universe now of these creatures, whereas you grew up with the movies being so indivital and non-canonized?
No. They were originally connected.
Oh yeah, like the
original gods, the original Godzilla, all those were connected. Like that. That's
which is crazy to think about.
Yeah, all we're doing now is copying what Japan did initially. Like that's how you get all the different kaijus. Like that's where that came from. Was from the original Godzilla movies that we saw them as creature double features.
And then because Mothra had an individual movie, then Rodan got an individual movie, and then we saw them together in Ghidorah, the three-headed monster, for the first time.
They each one would appear in multiple movies unto themselves. You had Mecha Godzilla shows up, his first appearance, and then they fought against each other. Then they fight on the same team. It was a lot like wrestling. Like a guy would have a heel turn. Godzilla was good. He was bad unto himself until there was another monster, and then Godzilla was good. Mothra fought against, they would call Mothra to fight against Godzilla until another monster shows up who was more destructive, and now we need Mothra and Godzilla to team up to go against whoever that is.
Chris, the biggest favor you could do me for your next live stream with Lewis is ask him how he feels about that comparison. About
wrestling and Godzilla?
Because I feel like the parallels work on so many levels.
Oh no, 100%. 100%. Like people have been paralleling Godzilla and wrestling for years now. Like, because I didn't know that. Yeah, because it's like in the fandom, it's just because some monsters just have like Danny said, heel turns and stuff like that, and just like certain babyface arrows. It's great. It's genuinely great.
Like we're going into Kong's babyface era right now in the MonsterVerse.
Yes, exactly. We really are. Yeah. Like we really are. Like, oh my God, like the whole, like I remember somebody said it once. They were comparing Godzilla versus Kong to like Kane versus Undertaker for a little bit like that.
I would compare it more to Undertaker versus Mankind, Hell in a Cell.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
You bitch slap, stupid Kong. That's what you get, Kong.
And dude, like let's talk GXK for a minute here. The first trailer drops. We get a new iteration of Godzilla. So I want to hear what you think about that. I want to hear what you think about King Kong gauntlet as well, which I've heard from test screenings is used to control his lightning powers. There was people online trying to say it was a brace because Scar King breaks his arm or something. No, we heard from people in the screening it's to control lightning powers. So what are your
Really?
thoughts about So what are your thoughts about Godzilla getting to be powered up, and then King Kong with the lightning powers now coming in?
Oh, that's perfect because Kong had his lightning powers back in the 60s. Yeah,
Yeah.
like in the 60s. Like, and it was something that I wanted him to have in Godzilla versus King Kong because it's a staple of Toho Kong. And it's just it makes sense. Every monster in this world has a power that they can do like a sub power. And Kong was just like he uses tools and he's very, very smart, which I love. But it's I've always wanted to see the lightning powers in this movie. So like if we could see that and I can actually see Kong like you a lightning punch or just like, grab another kaiju and they get shocked to death or something like that. That's what I would
You're
love
going
to
to see
see.
the combo. You're going to see Godzilla's atomic breath with Kong's lightning used as a combo attack. I almost guarantee it.
I hope so, bro. Oh my god. And another thing, I love Godzilla's design too. His new Pinkzilla, Barbenheimer. I love it. I genuinely like it because
Remember, I was joking with you that Oppenheimer's a secret prequel to
Godzilla
-1.
-1. And honestly, that's my head canon. That Oppenheimer. Listen, bro, watch Oppenheimer, then watch Godzilla -1, and they actually go really well in hand together.
Like Rogue One and New Hope do, bro.
Yes, like genuinely like that. Like it's to the point where I'm gonna make an edit here very soon and put on my YouTube channel where I'm gonna just like take like the end of
post-credit scene of Oppenheimer.
Yeah, like make a post-credit scene for Oppenheimer, but just like put like some Godzilla footsteps at the very end of Oppenheimer and take.
No, what you do is you clip the scene from -1 when the nuke goes off and you see the eye mutate.
Yes, I wish I had that HD though. Oh my god!
I know it's available online. All the Oppenheimer stuff's up on YouTube now in 4K. You just gotta hit ending scene. Oh, you meant -1. Sorry,
yeah,
-1.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good. Yeah, no, it's as soon as I get that HD, I'm making that.
So back to my point about a continuing universe. I know you guys have said they've done it in the past. What are your thoughts on how the Americans are doing it? Being a fan of both.
Oh, honestly, dude, it's one of the only cinematic universes right now that's thriving with the MCU. I mean, look at like DC; they had to get rebooted before this. Fucking the Dark Universe, like the Dark Universe, fucking
that lasted one movie.
That lasted one movie and died.
Yes.
Like, bro,
I could do a deep dive.
Tom Cruise is on film for 2 hours. Like, yeah, okay, we're good.
So I could do a deep dive on the Dark Universe, but one of the things that you were just saying there, I like people don't even realize Godzilla versus Kong. They like to look at opening weekend numbers and stuff, and that's one of the things I specialize in is in studying the box office. Godzilla did $49 million in the middle of the pandemic, while it was a movie that debuted same day on streaming. You could watch it for free on HBO, and people still went out in a pandemic. $50 million. That is more than the opening weekend of The Flash. That is more than the opening weekend of The Marvels. That is insane. And then it had staying power. HBO saw a subscriber jump specifically when it hit day and date. Like it's creating a fandom now. And now you have Monarch. So you have HBO streaming the main movies. You have Apple streaming Monarch 1. You have different things that are coming out in different services. Everybody is getting in on this IP. So I think it's a saturation level we've never quite seen before. So do you compare them to each other, American versus Toho, or do you just consider them both separate canons and you enjoy every bit of it?
I consider them separate canons, but here I'll give you a little insight of my personal theory. I've never went public about this before, so you guys are getting this. Yeah, you guys are getting this exclusively, like my take.
Exclusive.
You guys are getting an exclusive Monster Zero take. Okay, I think Toho. Get this. I think Toho is a marketing genius because in the past 10 years, right, they didn't have to do shit to get Godzilla back in the cultural zeitgeist. The only thing they had to do was give their rights to the Americans. And then they made that 2014 film that popped Godzilla back into popularity again. Then they're like, all right, cool. Let's make Shin Godzilla. Shin Godzilla popped off. And then they sat back again for another like 6-7 years. And they just sat there and they're like, all right, now let's watch the money roll in. Yeah, let the American do their thing. And let the money and watch the money roll in. And then Godzilla got so popular again. And then they made -1. And look how it's doing now. Look how it's doing now.
Do you believe that 20 years from now, -1 will be looked at as one of the best Godzilla movies, as the way Dark Knight is considered with the best Batman movie?
100%. And in 20 years, -1 will be looked at as one of the greatest movies ever made, just like Star Wars. I guarantee it.
That's why we were talking about the Oscar chances and stuff. So what the Americans are doing with it, the saturation, there's no real comparison with this. Even when Spider-Man went to Japan, it was a totally different Spider-Man. Like he had a mech, he had all kinds of stuff. So like the cohesiveness that you're seeing right now with being able to work together is crazy. But can we just touch on the fact with -1? When's the last time you saw this hype for a foreign film? I didn't see people telling me to go see Parasite in theaters.
Parasite was a sleeper hit. Parasite was a sleeper hit.
Yeah,
It
people.
was a sleeper hit, but it wasn't in the zeitgeist. There wasn't 10 million YouTube reviewers doing Parasite reviews.
Until after it got its Oscar nomination.
There wasn't Forbes putting out articles. There wasn't Variety and all these people reporting the box office, reporting the extensions. Like this is a story right now. It set the record for highest live action.
But at the same time, it's easier because Godzilla is a known property. Parasite. Hold on. You went on a long to.
No, I just got to say,
Parasite.
It's subtitled. It's not even dubbed. You have to read this movie.
It wasn't Parasite, which shows you how amazing what Parasite did was. This is we talk about why do you keep like regurgitating things rather than create something new? Parasite was creating something new with no one had any clue what it was. Movie Parasite. What is it? Some sci-fi? They get a parasite and turn? No, it was nothing about that. It was a people story, and it was so original, and so that takes a little longer. It was great, and the fact that it was able to do what it did shows you how amazing it is when Parasite's in the same conversation as Godzilla that has been out here since the 50s.
Yes, and it's also incredible that. It's incredible that Parasite is also being in the same talking point as Godzilla, but it's also incredible that Godzilla is up for an Oscar nomination. Well, potentially be voted with Spider-Verse of all things for VFX.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's not even VFX. There's a real chance that Godzilla and Spider-Verse are going to be nominated for Best Picture. That's the fucking world we're living in right now. That if you go back even a year and you say Spider-Man and Godzilla are going to be two of the Best Picture nominees for the Oscars, you would fucking laugh at yourself.
Yeah, look at to Black Panther. Black Panther should have had got a nomination. They're like,
Black Panther should have won Best Picture that year. I agree. Black Panther absolutely should have won Best Picture.
Like Black Panther opened it up for Joker to win.
But I feel
my God, it really did.
But I feel like what Godzilla is doing right now with -1 is bridging that gap between the American fans and the Toho fans. And it's going to unlock different levels of fandom because then American fans are going to get into the Godzilla back catalog. There's people that are going to get into the cartoons. There's people that are going to get into the comics. The Godzilla cartoon, say what you want about Zilla the movie, the Zilla cartoon was fire.
The Zilla cartoon,
it was different. It wasn't based on the movie. It wasn't based on anything on the movie.
Yeah, actually, it was great.
Was fire.
Yeah, that was completely different than the movie. Like,
it was completely different.
They said, let's actually make a Godzilla show. Like, I don't know what that movie was. That was just some lizard.
His green atomic breath in the show was so cool.
Oh, yeah, it was. So, like, I just feel like there's no saturation of a fandom right now like this. Anything. Everything else is stalled. So it's like, people are like, what else is there to watch right now? I've seen families. I live right next to my local theater. I've seen families going in, but it being subtitled adds another layer to how good the story is. That people are like, yeah, I'll go sit and read a fucking 2 hour and 15-minute movie.
And the thing is, too, is like within 5 minutes, you don't even notice you're reading subtitles anymore.
Yep. And Chris, you can vouch for this. There was hardcore Godzilla YouTubers that flew to Japan to watch it, not speaking Japanese.
Yes,
there was. And it wasn't subtitled. So like they just went and watched the movie for what you could visually see, and they were like, "It's still a masterpiece. It's stunning." Like
I can't wait to see this movie again. I'm debating on going to see it again tonight. Like genuinely, this would have been my 5th time seeing it.
This is what Hasbro tried to do when they came out with that horrible battleship movie. Rampage. Wait, what was the other one that they tried? Well, what they did do with Transformers. Because the G.I. Joe
transform and roll out.
This is what Hasbro wanted to do. They had these IPs that
and they failed too.
Epic failure. I hate those Transformers movies. They're all stupid. And by the way, Bumblebee sucks because that's not Bumblebee. That's Cliffjumper. Cliffjumper's the one that would go up to Megatron and punch him in the face. Make Bumblebee red. That's what it is. His name isn't Bumblebee. His name is Cliffjumper. Get it right. Learn the stuff. Learn the stuff. I hate that.
I gotta check Chris's knowledge here. So Chris, this is your what if scenario, okay? You're setting up a triple threat match. We got Godzilla, Kong, and Scar King. Name 3 kaiju you're throwing up against them.
3? Fuck.
He has one right behind him on the bottom.
Who?
Ghidorah.
Oh yeah, he's guaranteed. Like,
Yeah,
that's the man.
yeah, Ghidorah, 100%. Ghidorah, throw in fucking God, Mecha Godzilla.
Yeah.
Or do you go Space Godzilla? You got to choose one, Mecha or Space.
Okay. If I throw in Space Godzilla, that's a clap. Space Godzilla would kill
Space
Kong
Godzilla.
and Scar King in an instant.
they kind of powered him up a little too much.
Yeah, like that would be too much. Space Godzilla, yeah, Space Godzilla's crazy.
Yeah, we'll just make him do all the stuff. He can do all the things.
Space Godzilla was born out of a black hole. Was born in a black hole, then flew out of that black hole, and then destroyed the same black hole that he was born in on his way back to Earth to kill Godzilla. Like he was mad. That's a different level of mad I've never seen before.
Do you understand when you just said that in my head, Space Godzilla's voice is now Neil deGrasse Tyson to me? Because you're like born in a black hole, like he's talking about the cosmos. He's like with Godzilla, Space Godzilla voiced by Neil deGrasse Tyson, honestly, with Mecha Godzilla voiced by Bill Nye. Like,
oh my god, bro! Have Mecha Godzilla? No, have Godzilla be voiced by Bill Murray.
Bill Murray.
Because, yeah, if I get older, Godzilla just being voiced by Bill Murray because he's just so tired all the time, and have Kong be voiced by Carl Weathers.
Yeah, you gotta have one of them like Patrick Stewart, like Godzilla. I'm telling you right now.
Have that be one of them. Have that be one of the Mothra twins, like one of the Mothra larva twins, like the two Mothra. Have one of them sound like Patrick Stewart, and the other one sound like fucking Jennifer Garner for no reason.
Dude, and then you have Biolante. You have Biolante voiced by Gilbert Gottfried. What are you talking about? I'm always in pain. Like
Godzilla.
Oh, Godfrey can do Godzilla's son.
All right, so wait, he's got to
finish his food. That's perfect.
Yeah, so you got Ghidorah, and then who are your other two? Final answers, sir.
Okay, Ghidorah, one final answer. Gigan, just because Gigan's a hater, and Megalon.
Megalon.
Now, you know who the name of the turtle?
That's Gamera. That's another studio. I would love for Gamera to be in this universe.
So here's an insider fact for you. When you and Lewis were talking about your favorite kaiju from the MonsterVerse, and you were talking about the one that's a mountain, like that had been living. You know what I'm talking about?
The one that was living in Germany for a while.
Yeah. Do you feel that was an American take on Gamera?
A little bit, yes, because it looked like a turtle and it had like kind of the fangs on the side. I feel like that was like because this is something the MonsterVerse is doing. I'm happy you said this. Is what the MonsterVerse is doing is that they're taking classic kaiju, so they don't have to buy the rights to the Toho ones. They're taking like those old Toho monsters and mashing them together and making
vanilla icing it. They're doing the vanilla ice.
Yes, they're just taking old kaiju concepts and mashing them together and making their own new kaiju. Like Scar King is just a twisted King Kong, and Shimu, a toy got released today of what it looks like, and it looks like a white Godzilla.
Yeah, people were trying to say that the new pink Godzilla was actually Shimu. I'm like, no, it's not.
Yeah, like it's not. Godzilla, Shimu is just white Godzilla with big blue crystals sticking out of its back. And that's basically Space Godzilla. Like it's basically what Space Godzilla. It's a spiritual successor to Space Godzilla.
And then you were talking about Chimera. You had seen some design in Legacy of Monsters as well.
Yes, there are just some like this ion dragon. It looks like a mixture of rodent and just like a bat thing. Like it's we have like this new frost moth or frostvark. It's like a big mole frost titan. It's great. Right, we're getting these new names. Also, I love the name Shimu. I love the name Scar King because that fits back in with the 70s Godzilla monster names. Like we have a monster named Manda, not a monster named fucking Gabara. So like Shimu just fit and Scar King fit right in. I love that title. I just love that.
And now, here's one for you. As far as fatalities, I don't think there's anything to me that's ever going to compare to him doing the Muto down the throat in 2014.
Speak. That is one of the best finishers Godzilla has ever done. I would say another good one. But yeah, him grabbing the Muto and doing the kiss of death, that's one of the best, and I mean best Godzilla moments I've ever seen. And him just roaring and then throwing the head down, like that was so goated.
I feel like even Toho reps were looking at that scene like that is very cool.
That is, they were. I would say another one of my favorite fatalities from the Godzilla franchise was being the 70s when he's stepping on King Ghidorah's head. I remember that. Like all the monsters and destroy all monsters. They got Godzilla down, and then Godzilla goes up to King Ghidorah and starts stomping on its neck. And I've never heard King Ghidorah make a noise like this before. Like it was screaming in pain, and it was just so cool. It was like it was so good. It was so good, and Godzilla just kept stomping until blood came out of its mouth.
Danny, what do we have for a timer, by the way?
We got 7 minutes left. We're good.
All right, so Chris, I want you to get us back on track here about, for this first episode, what people you want to know about Godzilla, what you want them to get cracking on. Where can our fans go, first of all, to follow you? What's your journey be with the character coming on? This is your chance. This is promote you, man. You got 7 minutes. Cut a promo.
Oh my God, Chuck, Danny, thank you both again for this amazing opportunity. I've been having so much fun with you guys today, and I really can't wait to do this again.
Yes, he's coming back, folks. We hooked him in. That was my whole goal here, was to get you to have enough fun.
You did. If you guys want to follow me on twitch.tv/monster0. I stream on Twitch there at least once every week. I'll try to. I'll be playing video games, we'll be watching movies, doing tier lists on different, like, what characters can and cannot say the N-word. I did a tier list of Godzilla monsters on which Godzilla monsters can and cannot say the N-word. Same thing with Ben 10 aliens.
And then obviously you're doing the weekly live streams with Lewis on Wednesdays.
Yes, on Wednesdays, me and my buddy on his YouTube channel, Lewis Duran, I'm doing a weekly Wednesday stream where we go over the latest Godzilla and Kaiju news, some toy news, getting hyped for Godzilla -1, getting hyped for Godzilla X Kong. And I hope to be coming back here and doing this and talking about.
Our goal for you for the future is, while you're doing that stuff that Lewis talking about what's current, you come back here and we do our retro reviews. You pick a Godzilla movie, we watch it, and then we all discuss it, and you take us through different history of the kaiju and the monsters featured in those movies.
Oh my God, that'd be wonderful. If I can give a recommendation, for some movies, I want everybody to do their homework today. If I can give there's 3 recommendations for 3 entry Godzilla movies I would love to see.
So before you do that, why don't you pick the next movie now? What's the first movie you want to review on this, so we can have all our fans and ourselves watch that movie in time for our next show?
Oh my God. Okay. All right. Let me make sure I say this right. All right, everybody. Your homework is to watch the original Godzilla movie, the Godzilla 1954.
I can do that.
Yes, the one directed by Ishiro Honda. You can watch all of these movies. They're all free on Peacock right now. There's a Godzilla channel on Peacock.
That's a huge plug. I'll definitely check out. I've never seen the 54 one. Danny, have you?
Yeah.
All right.
I told you, I used to watch Creature Double Feature. Seen all these.
Okay. So obviously I'm going to be coming in as the noob to this. So homework, guys, check out the original 1954 Godzilla free on Peacock. All right, Chris, I turn the reins back to you.
They're all there. We could do these in order.
Yeah, exactly. They're all there. So like we could do these in order.
Yeah, and let's do it in order, because there's different errors, and it'd be nice to go to do them and then review that error. Go to the next one, review that error, and it will give people an understanding of the evolution of Godzilla as a character, not just, oh, we've seen it here and here. Yeah, let's do that. All right,
well said, Danny. Well said, Danny.
That's
Chris,
awesome.
Did I not say? I was like, Chris, you're gonna vibe with us perfectly. That's the whole outline of the show. That's there it is. Let's get your Godzilla on.
That's wonderful, boys. But yes, that's wonderful. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you do your homework. Watch the original Godzilla 1954 so we can come back here next time and discuss it, go over some of the themes of it, the characters, why that movie specifically started this beautiful franchise, and we can just work our way up into the modern times. We have 33 Japanese films, 37 if you include the American films, movies to catch up on. But yes, boys and girls, yes, we have.
And you'll know the American ones. That's when King Kong wins. It's very obvious.
Oh man, I gotta cut the trailer now for the next show. Like, in a world where Godzilla fans had nowhere to turn, one man united the geeks. It's time to get your Godzilla on. So yeah, Chris, obviously we'll follow you on Twitch and YouTube. We'll check out your weekly streams with that. We can follow you on Twitter as well. What's your handle there?
Oh God, hang on. Let me plug out my Twitter.
At Senpai YOLO or something.
I think it is Senpai YOLO. I think it is.
I've got that autistic memory. Like, I've seen it once. I'm like, I think it's Senpai YOLO.
Yes, it is. Yes, Senpai YOLO. Senpai_YOLO. Follow me on Twitter. So that's where I keep most update stuff like that. Like, I'll just plug a random thing. Like, I'll say I'm eating a hot dog on the toilet while I'm taking a shit or something like that.
That's what we love. And I think I can vouch for Danny as well, Chris. This has been an absolute honor and a pleasure to have you on. Your knowledge and your love for this is so inspiring and infectious. I truly cannot wait to work with you again.
I can't wait to work with you guys again. Thank you both for this amazing opportunity. I'm genuinely grateful. This was so much fun.
I feel like this was just a great hangout. Like the fact that we recorded it is just a bonus.
It is, honestly.
Danny,
This
what
was
are
so
your
much
thoughts
fun.
on Chris?
Oh yeah, this is good. This is fun. Man, I get to review some Godzilla stuff. I haven't watched half of those in a hot minute. I saw some of the like Godzilla and his son. I've seen those kind of recently, just because those are hilarious. Wait till we get to those. His son does the dance. Oh, yes.
It's gonna be good.
Because he
So,
tries
Chris,
to teach him how to shoot fire the whole movie and he can't do it. All he does is smoke rings. He's like, come on, son. I'm gonna beat this alien up and then I'm gonna let you finish him.
Oh my god, dude. I fucking grew such an oh my god. Okay, we'll talk about that when we actually get talking about that. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, this is gonna be so good.
My friend Chris, any final words for the fans out here? Welcome to the Get Your Geek On community, first of all.
Thank you for welcoming me. Get Your Geek On community. Stay safe, protect yourselves and each other. Make sure you brush your teeth every night. Make sure you stay hydrated, drink plenty of water. Make sure you get enough sun. Make sure you stay in contact with your loved ones this holiday season, and make sure you just have the best time you can. Make sure you wake up and just try to be happy.
And the best gift we can give you guys for this holiday season is to let you know that Get Your Godzilla On will be back. Look forward to our next episode reviewing the 1954 Godzilla. Follow Monster Zero on all his platforms. Follow me and DB like you already do. Love to Australia out there. We're going to be wrapping things up. You've had a chance to get your week on. Now you had a chance to get your geek on because that's what we do. So go home and get your freak on.